if you want to save your producers from import, at least in new upcoming industries, and want to avoid situation of mass unemployment, you can use tariffs.
What is a tariff and how it will help in increasing the producer's welfare?
A tariff is a tax on goods produced abroad and sold domestically, that is, imports. Tariffs raise the price of imported goods above the world price by the amount of the tariff. Figure shows the status of Ireland's market for aluminium. Under free trade, the domestic price equals the world price. A tariff raises the price of imported aluminium above the world price by the amount of the tariff. Domestic suppliers of aluminium who compete with suppliers of imported aluminium can now sell their aluminium for the world price plus the amount of the tariff. Thus, the price of aluminium, both imported and domestic, rises by the amount of the tariff and is therefore closer to the price that would prevail without trade. The change in price affects the behavior of domestic buyers and sellers. Because the tariff raises the price of aluminium, it reduces the domestic quantity demanded from Q1D to Q2D and raises the domestic quantity supplied from Q1S to Q2S. Thus, the tariff reduces the quantity of imports and moves the domestic market closer to its equilibrium without trade. Let us find out the gains and losses from the tariff. On the outset, key thing to understand is that because the tariff raises the domestic price, domestic sellers are better off and domestic buyers are worse off. In addition, the government raises revenue. To measure these gains and losses, let us look at the changes in consumer surplus, producer surplus, and government revenue. Before the tariff, the domestic price equals the world price. Consumer surplus, the area between the demand curve and the world price, is area A plus, B plus, C plus, D plus, E plus, F. Producer surplus, the area between the supply curve and the world price, is area G. Government revenue equals 0. Total surplus, the sum of consumer surplus, producer surplus and government revenue, is area A plus, B plus, C plus, D plus, E plus, F plus, G. Once the government imposes a tariff, the domestic price exceeds the world price by the amount of the tariff. Consumer surplus is now area A plus B. Producer surplus is area C plus G. Government revenue, which is the quantity of after-tariff imports times the size of the tariff, is the area E. Thus, total surplus with the tariff is area A plus, B plus, C plus, E plus, G. To determine the total welfare effects of the tariff, we add the change in consumer surplus, which is negative, the change in producer surplus, positive, and the change in government revenue, positive. We find that total surplus in the market decreases by the area D plus F. This fall in total surplus is called the deadweight loss of the tariff. It is not surprising that a tariff causes a deadweight loss because a tariff is a type of tax. Like any tax on the sale of a good, it distorts incentives and pushes the allocation of scarce resources away from the optimum. In this case, we can identify two effects. First, the tariff on aluminium raises the price of aluminium that domestic producers can charge above the world price and, as a result, encourages them to increase production of aluminium from Q1S to Q2S. Second, the tariff raises the price that domestic aluminium buyers have to pay and, therefore, encourages them to reduce consumption of aluminium from Q1D to Q2D. Area D represents the deadweight loss from the overproduction of aluminium, and area F represents the deadweight loss from the underconsumption. The total deadweight loss of the tariff is the sum of these two triangles.